Go with Toby and get our senior
Stand
discount.
for the pledge tonight. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have one order of business tonight that we want to take care of to begin the meeting. As most of you know, we do have some vehicles that are owned by the town of Atlanta that were used for our police protection. Now that Hamilton County Sheriff's Department is taking care of our police protection, we have put these cars up for sale for sealed bids. So tonight we would like to open these bids and award
Minutes, I ain't heard the minutes yet.
sales. So Robin's going to open them. This first bid is on the 2006 Dodge Magnum. The bid amount is $3,201. Andy Emmert is the bidder. This bid is for the 2008 Chevy Impala. The bid for this vehicle is $2,503. Wayne Farley is the bidder. Next bid. Actually, this bidder has bid on two vehicles. The Dodge Magnum, a bid of $868. The second bid is for the Chevy Impala. It's $1,068. I cannot pronounce this gentleman's name.
They're from Chicago.
Yeah. Island Lake, Illinois. Joseph DeBall.
Can I see that so I can just spell it?
Bay Ridge Motors. There's his
Oh,
address.
it's Bay Ridge Motors.
Okay. Next sealed bid. Kurt Majors, Chevy Impala, $2,350. This bid is on the 2006 Dodge Magnum. $407. Chicago Motors. 407.
Scrap value's got to be higher.
I would think so.
It's all plastic.
Chevy Impala, $2,775.50. Curtis Crawford. Anderson, Indiana. Okay, this is on the Dodge Magnum, $3,950.50. Kendra Campbell. List a telephone number but no address.
We know who she is.
Okay.
I did.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Finally, the last line.
This the last one?
Yep.
Chevy Impala, $2,250.50. Austin Wade, Shelby Hutchison. Okay.
So Curtis Crawford on the Impala and Kendra Campbell on the Magnum.
Oh, wait a minute, Dodge. Yeah, never mind. No, 2350 for, oh yeah, Kevin Majors. Never mind. Didn't you say Kevin Majors?
Curtis Crawford was $2775.50.
Oh yeah,
And
never mind.
Curtis Majors was $23.
Never mind, I'm looking at the wrong thing, sorry.
Yeah.
Mr. Crawford got the hybrid.
Yeah. Crawford and Campbell.
Now, if the high bidder don't come through, we can go to the next highest bid and sell these to the next highest bidder.
Right.
So we can just go right down the list if they don't come through. Okay.
Okay, do I hear a motion this evening that we accept the bids for both of these vehicles?
I make a motion, we accept the bid.
Here a second?
So second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm impressed.
That's more money than I thought.
Me too. I thought they were using around $1,200-$1,500.
A lot of bids too.
Yeah. I forget what site she put those on, but did very well.
Did the bid specs give them a certain amount of time to put these up?
You know what?
Did we determine the time?
I don't think we did.
Is there a determined one now? Because
Yeah.
it wasn't in the ad.
Okay. What would be is 10 days sufficient? Or do we go longer than that? Or
10 days to 2
I would
weeks.
say 10 days is very generous. I mean, if you're gonna make a bid, you better be prepared.
7 days? What's your feeling?
Make it a week.
That's the seven
Make
Yeah,
it 7
make it a week.
days?
7.
days and if
1
they,
week from today's date?
These are local people? These are both local people? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they certainly involved in
When-
the arrangements to, financial,
Right.
so they know.
when they're notified, I'd make a recommendation that if they're notified that they have 7 days to pick them up, and if they don't, then it goes to the next bidder, and they just call the next guy on the 8th day and let them know that they have 7 days.
Okay.
You go right down the line till they're picked up.
Any other
Roberta?
questions?
You might put a date, not just say you have 7 days, say you
Right.
have to pay by March the 3rd.
Certainly, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise you'll,
From the date they're notified, should put a date with it.
It'll be 7 days from today.
Dated.
You done?
Got it.
Any other questions or comments before we move on? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of our prior minutes. We have 3 meetings that we need to approve the minutes for. The first being our February 9th regular board meeting. Do I have a motion that These minutes be approved
For February 9th,
for February 9th.
I make a motion we accept the minutes for February 9th.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next meeting was held on February 10th. It was an executive session meeting. Do I hear a motion that
I
the,
make a motion to accept it.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And our last meeting was held on February the 12th. It was a special meeting.
Make a motion we accept that as well.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I need for each one of you to sign this. Thank you, Rob. Okay, we'll move on to our reports tonight. Andy?
All right, underwater, the plant's treated 614,500 gallons of water since the 9th. Our average daily usage is up a little bit, 43,982. Filters were backwash on the 15th and the 22nd, and the meter's been read for the month of February. We had our annual well and pump tests, and everything's performing well. Under wastewater, been performing daily checks at the lift station, the ponds, and the SSO during rain events. Sewer plant's closed, and we're not discharging. Our weekly sewer samples are complete. The chemicals for the wastewater plant have been delivered, and then I've been soliciting bids for the contractors for the wastewater plant, and we should be underway next week. Picking up the doors and the iron filter tomorrow. I discovered that US Filter is located in Indianapolis. We get a municipal discount, and with that and no shipping, we're gonna save another $300 on that over what I quoted you guys in the meeting the other day.
Good.
So, Leonard Street's our last load of road salt's been delivered. With the mild winter, we've used 20 tons less than we did last year, and we still should have some to carry over for next. Back to the benches, we got enough for the 4 benches at $225 each. I still like to get those. I got 36 bags of these caps over there in the garage. I really want to move these things.
You don't want any more?
Not right now, I don't.
I don't wanna stop it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think anybody understands what's on. We save $135 a bench. And we gotta sit up here and sort through this trash because almost nobody, I won't say nobody, 90% of the stuff has got trash in it that's not even supposed to be in there. And it's all like not washed and sticky and crappy. Then we gotta sort them, and we gotta drag them over there to the garage, and then we gotta keep them. And then, it's like, you gotta see what, 1,600 pounds of caps take up. The time we spend doing this, we're losing money. We're better off to just buy these things outright and be done with them. If you guys want me to do it, you're my boss, I'm gonna do it. But I'm telling you, we ain't saving no money.
Well, I know I haven't brought anything up here that wasn't clean.
You're right, but believe me, I'm not making this up. The girls see it. We get pickle
We've had
jars,
mason jars,
mason
again,
jars, and
medicine bottles.
just the list goes on and on.
McDonald's lids, paper
Where's
lids.
that come from?
For the people that bring the stuff up here. I mean, people bring bags and drop them off, and then we have to open them up and sort through this. And if you go to the program, this is really, if you look on the website, this is really supposed to be a youth program, and you're supposed to sign up, and there's supposed to be a mentor, and kids are supposed to be doing this. And I'm just telling you, we are saving no money, but I will do whatever you tell me to do.
How much are the benches?
The benches
What?
are,
Oh, never mind, he's gonna ask.
no, the benches are 225 plus
225.
225 plus 135, so they're $360 if we buy them outright. And here's the deal, it takes 200 pounds to make a bench, so basically, we're giving them enough material to build another bench, and we saved $135.
So if you were to go down there and purchase a bench
Straight up,
without one cap,
360.
it's $360.
Yep.
If you take
400 pounds,
400 pounds down,
they're $225.
they're $225.
Yep.
Plus your.
And plus on top of that, you gotta drive all the way to Evansville. That's the only place that does it, Evansville, Indiana, so.
I can see your point.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I'll
I
do it,
can see
I'll do
that.
it, I'll do it if you want me to, but I'm just saying, we're not saving money.
I think you have better things to do with your time
Yeah.
I mean, it's a neat program, and if, you know, if you had a school doing it, or a church group where kids were doing it and stuff, it'd be great, but just the storage, I mean, you ought to see the mountain of bags we got stacked up over there. I mean, basically, to give you an idea, it varies a little bit, but a festival trash can full to the top is about 50 pounds of caps.
So 4 of those per bench.
Yeah, but and some of them, depending on the lids we get though, it's not even that. I mean, we've got
Yeah,
bags
'cause
that
some
weigh as
big-
little. We got a box full that weighs as little as, like we got one over there that's like 36 pounds. You know, so part of it depends on what kind of caps and stuff and lids are in it.
Thickness.
The bags, each bag, 'cause we've been weighing each bag and keeping a running tally of them over there to get up to the 1,600 pounds. It's just taking forever to get 1,600 pounds.
Sorry to be ignorant, but I don't even know what this is about. What are these?
Park benches.
Park benches, made out of recycled plastic.
They're like the ones up at Tipton Park here around their gazebo,
And you're collecting caps? Trash?
plastic.
We have
Caps.
to be here.
Bottle caps.
Oh. Okay.
We got enough to get
Laundry
4.
detergent caps, milk jug
Gotcha.
caps,
Milk jug paint caps.
any type of plastic cap.
Okay.
And how many benches were you looking to buy?
We were getting a dump truck load, which will equal what, 4
4 benches.
benches?
4 benches.
And I don't even think how much I got now to get 4 benches is even gonna fit in a dump truck. I'm probably gonna take a trailer, cause the dump truck's probably not gonna hold them.
And then you have to haul that dump, you have to take that dump truck to Evansville, which is a,
What's your estimate on that cost? We're paying you per hour?
Well, I don't
plus
know,
the
I haven't
mileage.
even looked at that. I mean, it's a trip down there, and that's why I was saying, if we figured out how many benches we got, we'd be ahead to just buy
Will they ship them if we buy them?
Straight out.
buy what we need, and take the caps we have, get the discount, buy what we need. And,
It's a 2.5, 3-hour drive from here.
about 4.5,
4.5.
5, yeah. Basically, like,
So the trailer
We're
would
gonna
be,
go in the hole.
Yeah.
You can take 69 now, but it's a solid.
Let's just recycle the caps and call it
No,
quit.
we're gonna go in the hole.
No,
Really?
down.
no, we
If we
can't.
pay, if we could consider your wages and the gas.
that's what I'm just saying, it's not,
probably overtime, by the time you go down there and you get loaded and drive back, you're gonna be overtime to go down and back in the day.
No overtime.
And that's including the time to go through all of it.
it's a neat, I mean,
It's a great idea,
But
but
not for the utility supervisor.
Buy them, we're gonna buy them. I mean, that would be foolish not to buy them
Yeah.
at this point. I mean, all this time and effort, and you folks bringing these in, and everyone I've seen, I'd hate to think how many you've brought in.
It's the
Burgers,
biggest
you
one.
brought them in, I mean,
Hey, I just think, you know, it's something that's gonna last forever. I
Right.
realize the cost is there. And if you guys wanna stop it, that's one thing, but I hate to say that we're gonna not do anything with it after a year.
no, we're
no,
gonna do it.
we're gonna do it.
we
Definitely gonna
You're
do
gonna
it.
buy the 7, cause you talked about 7 the last
Well,
time.
or whatever we have.
I think to start with, we can do 4. We've got some things up in the air right now that, may require
A little
some,
bit more important.
some spending, and I wanna be very conservative. I mean, obviously, we have enough caps to purchase 4 benches
Four's better than nothing.
at $225 each. So let's take advantage of that. And then, once we see where we're at, you know, with festival funds or, you know,
Just go buy
and then go buy the next. They are nice benches. I have 2 down at my elementary school that, like Andy said, they were classroom projects that a couple of teachers took on, and all the kids brought in caps, and one of the teachers had a connection with CVS Pharmacy, and they had a ton of the plastic caps. But anyway, 2 of those benches were delivered there at school, and they are very nice. They're heavy and durable, very durable. We have one in our front lobby, and the second one is out on our playground there at the school. So they're nice looking benches. So. And then there's always the possibility of maybe someone being willing to donate money to buy one, maybe in memory of someone. I mean, that's, you know, to sponsor a bench, you know, and,
They will they will degrade them.
yeah. So, I mean, there's some, you know, endless things we can do here, so,
I'd be willing to do that if you wanna get another one
okay,
when you go down or whatever.
okay,
Okay.
sure.
Maybe we can put that on our social media, you know, if you wanna sponsor.
Sponsor a bench for the town, and that would be, what, $360 per bench without the caps. And, but I'm sure, Andy, you're ready to get that space back over in the garage.
And that's less time for him too. Then he doesn't have to go through them and clean them.
Okay. And then, on the park note, we had some more vandalism in the park. I'd like to purchase a security system for the park. It's $450. It's in stock at Menards. Everything's attached. It is expandable. Up to 8 cameras. If it runs 24/7, there's 30 days worth of memory on this hard drive on this thing, because a neighbor saw it, and again, for the life of me, I do not understand it. They didn't call the police. We were out there fixing stuff and checking it out the next day. They came and told us who did it. Well, of course, that person denied it. I don't know where it's at. I filed a police report with the sheriff's department, but the downspouts all ripped off, beat up, caved in. They hung on the gutters, bent the gutters all up, pulled part of them off the building. And then I know everybody thinks it's like all fun and games when they wrap the swing sets up, but really what it does is chips all the paint off that we just paid to paint swing sets last year. And the guy that did it is 21 years old. And if it was on video, it would just be case closed. Here you go.
Right.
Take them away.
Well, I know we've had this discussion several times.
I thought we okayed it at one meeting.
I think we probably have.
Bear trap.
It's,
Well, we're gonna get another still camera, which that leads me to my next one. The camera, how long are we doing the camera at the post office? I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I'll keep doing it. You're my boss. Every week, we got to put new batteries in. I have to sit in there and go through it's about 4,000 photographs a week. I mean, I spend like 2 hours.
Those are enough cameras on this new system you're talking about to put this on the same system and do away with that one that's in there?
I don't know if it'll
With
be.
the range?
I don't know. I'd have to look into it.
What's the manufacturer?
It's a Swan system. They do have wireless ones, but then we have to get into
Yeah.
wiring it into the power at the post office, because it's gonna have to have power. Even the cordless ones do. I mean, it won't run off a battery.
you had any vandalism issues at the post office lately? I know it's
One
been-
single thing on one single picture. I dump that camera every week. And you know, even we had this report, there was kids in there for over an hour smoking. Over an hour, but nobody called the police. Well, guess what? I sat there and went through all them pictures. There was never a kid in there doing anything, let alone smoking. But that was the thing. There was kids in there smoking. But,
They're riding your bikes.
but guess what? Nothing on the camera. The only kids I've ever seen in there are in there with a parent, and even you would be surprised at how rare it is that a kid comes in to get the mail. I mean, by themselves. I mean, you see them getting the mail, going to the mailbox and leaving, but it's rare.
Comes to smoking, I've been in there and there's adults in there smoking, but they're getting their mail, that might be where they're getting their smoke smell.
Yeah, that's what I said. But I can see if wireless, I mean,
Shouldn't
it's,
it be no smoking?
it is.
It's supposed to be.
That's what I thought.
But I can see if I can get a cordless that's in range of that.
$450.
$450.
Yeah.
Weasel Warehouse, something.
Where would these cameras be installed? Where would the four
Say where I'm
cameras?
gonna put them at, on the chimney. 'Cause we
Oh.
don't use the fireplace, so I can see all around.
Oh, all four ways?
Yep, plus their night vision.
There you go. 65 feet though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like I said, it could be expandable if we need something later.
You put something on
We
the,
could put
on the,
by the basketball
on the
court.
tower, on the water tower, and look this way towards the park?
Not really.
No?
I mean, it could be done, it could be done, but it's, again, the
Well,
cameras
would
have.
would the camera on the chimney catch, would have caught the vandalism that was just under the downspouts and
Yep,
stuff?
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because most of this, I mean, most of the stuff, it has been in a couple other places, but most of the stuff that's happening is on the little playground.
Okay.
I mean, that's like 80% of everything that happens at the park is in the fenced-in playground,
I make a
Can you add additional cameras to this?
up to 4 more. It's,
4 more, so it'll hold 8
It'll
cameras
do 8
system?
total.
And it's, what,
And then-
65-foot range on the
and then-
cameras?
I mean, there are systems, I was trying to go middle of the road. I mean, if you wanna bump it up a few more $100, we can, there's systems that the cameras go out to 100 feet. I mean, without getting super expensive.
Well, my concern is if these only go up 65 feet and you put them on the chimney at
night
the shelter
vision.
house, they won't go far enough
Yeah,
over
but
to
you-
catch the guy from doing the damage to the swings that you're saying is
You put it on
vandalizing
the
the
corner.
swing.
I'm talking about the little park.
Yeah, they wrapped the little
That's
part
What
of
about the
things
big
this
park?
time.
Aren't they wrapping the big park too?
No, they only did that one time, but then when I left him up there for about 3 months and put him back, they don't do it no more.
Okay. I knew
least they
that
haven't
that was
yet.
one of the complaints you had was down there at the big park,
Yeah,
having to get the backhoe to go down there and
right.
get them down.
No, it was, but since I left him up there for a long time, and now I broke him down, they haven't done it again. Like I said, this wasn't even a kid. This guy's 21 years old.
What kind of installation time frame do you think would this take?
Well, I'm getting ready to go do some work over there anyways, because we got an issue with the door, so I plan on doing it here within the next week or so.
If this
I
is
mean,
approved?
yeah, I'll wait to buy them. I'm not gonna buy them ahead of time, but when we're getting ready to go over and work, then I'd go buy them and we could do it.
The nice thing about those cameras, cause I got the same type of system, you can go in on an app at any time.
Yeah, you'd be able to go on and look at it from your computer, your phone, tablet, anything. And the app's free.
Cool.
Well, I make a
And if you
motion
want
to let 'em
to,
buy it.
you can extend out the, you could extend out the time. We'll try it out in both ways and see, but the cameras are, you can put them in motion activated mode, and then the hard drive will go even longer. But as it sets, continuous recording, you can get a month worth of video.
And is there a way you could put like a chip in and record on a chip and then just switch
Well,
the
you
chip
put-
out so we don't
you
have to
could-
delete it? We
You can
could
put an
keep it.
external hard drive on it. I mean, we can do that. It said it says that, and we could do that. Like even with over there, I mean, if there's nothing on it, we delete it. I mean, the
Yeah,
cameras at
that's
the post
true.
office now is one we used to have at the park. But if we go through it and there's nothing on it, we delete it. And then if there is something, we usually just save it
Okay.
on the desktop.
think-
Yeah.
I think Jody made a motion.
I made a motion to let them go ahead and
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have a question, Roberta?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when that park was really set up there, they did have signs up at the gate saying in and under only in there.
I
That's
believe
one
the
of park
sign's
rules.
still up now it came down. It's been a while since I've
Of course,
been
if you tell
over
them,
there.
Babbitt.
they'll cuss you out, so.
How do you enforce that?
Sit over and watch it.
Yeah,
Have a guard.
no,
Bear trap.
that's just it.
You know, the thing that upsets me is we have,
Sit on
in
trains.
every town, you have this element of, people wanting to destroy stuff. Usually it's young kids, you know, but, we sit up here and we spend $500 here for this, 500 for that, 1,000, 1,500. We're a small town, we don't have a huge budget, and I don't mind spending money on stuff that we need, but it just, being it's a town hall meeting, I guess this is a place to say it, but I'm still getting complaints from people in my neighborhood who will come up to me and say, Toby, I seen so-and-so doing so-and-so over yesterday. And for the life of me, I am sick and tired of hearing that because it's all gossip. I say, well, why don't you call the police? They seem to think that the only people in this town who are qualified to call the police is the town board members.
Oh, I get more than
And
that.
the thing of it is, when we spend money like this, and I know this is a needed thing, but you know, it ultimately affects everybody in the town. Because you're using funds that we have to spend on this, we could use it in a lot of other different places. And it takes cooperation. Now, I can't go door to door and knock on doors and say, you know, you need to call the police if you see this. But I urge everybody who attends the town meetings to start telling your neighbors, you know, if you see something that doesn't look
Say
right, call the
something.
police. You're not gonna go, you know, your name don't go on a list. And I just feel like we need more, town cooperation, especially when it comes to money, safety of our kids, safety of our businesses, what have you. If we're gonna exist and get along in this town and even hopefully grow, we're seeing growth now, up this end, it's gonna require a lot of cooperation from everybody in town. And I know this speech has been said many, many times, Andy said it, but you know, it's come to a place now where people are gonna have to start, you know, do what you say and say what you do. And, so, you know, I'm just asking you, if you know any neighbors who are complaining about certain things, you know, tell them, if you see something out over there, call the police. That's what we pay the police for.
Take a picture with your camera.
Yeah, you know.
Everybody's got a camera on their phone.
That's the best thing, just,
So easy to do.
you see somebody suspicious, and you're so worried about it, just go take their picture, right there in their face, go, will you do that for
You don't
me,
even
huh?"
have to do that. Most
In case
phones
something
have
That's when they
the.
turn around, take your phone from you, beat you up.
Can I ask about the cameras? It might help. In the county, we had, you know, we got cameras all over the place. And I know Andy's given this a lot of thought. We had issues with kids painting underneath the bridge of the Riverwalk. But the cameras are, the pixels aren't very good. So face recognition was a problem. Even though we saw these little teenagers with their backpacks and, you know, pulling out spray cans, and they'd walk up into the beams of the bridge and start graffitiing it, but we didn't actually see them graffitiing it, putting, you know, spraying on there. The attorneys would not do anything about it because they could. They said we didn't actually see them. Even though you see them walking right up there to it, I'm just saying, I mean, you might be able to see them as far as spending that money. Your positioning of the cameras and stuff is huge. And like Andy's saying, it's only 65 feet out. If you see a body, a silhouette in the park doing something, you better have their face on that camera somehow, or you can't get them.
I can tell you, that's the range of the still camera we have, and we've used it to catch them. So,
Hopefully that'll be sufficient.
Be a deterrent.
Okay.
all right, under building, we've had 4 building inspections, 1 electrical inspection, had 1 re-inspection out there, 1 building permitting, and then 2 zoning inquiries. Unless you have any other questions, that's all I have.
Thank you, Andy. Back to the benches real quick. Did I get a motion that we approve the purchase of 4 of those benches?
I make a motion to purchase 4 of those benches. I also make a motion that we quit gathering up plastic waste.
Is there a
I
second?
second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on. Murray is absent this evening on code enforcement. Robin, do you have anything to report tonight? Okay. Is there any old business from the floor tonight? Okay, then we'll move on to new business. I want to talk about the Easter egg hunt, scheduled for Saturday, March the 26th at 1 p.m. March the 26th, it's on a Saturday at 1 p.m. at the community building. I know in years past, I believe the town has contributed money.
We have a
For this.
resolution for it.
Do we?
Yeah, we just kinda wanna go through the motions of
Okay.
like re-approving it.
Okay.
It's, not to exceed 500 for the Easter egg hunt or Halloween, so.
Okay. Do I hear a motion then that we, I guess, approve this
You
resolution?
can, you really don't need to, I mean, unless the resolution's good until somebody rescinds it.
Okay.
Is that 500 for both holidays or a piece?
We don't really do anything for Halloween anymore.
Okay.
Any objections to that then? We'll just continue on with that. Okay. All right, other new business tonight. Anyone have any questions? Linda?
Have you discussed options about the fire and ambulance, and is there anything you can let us know?
Nothing that we can share this evening yet. We're still in the fact gathering stage. Nothing new at this point. I'll just reiterate what was said at the meeting last week. Fire protection, nothing will change until July 1st, is my understanding. I mean, that's what the trustee said in the meeting, and I'm gonna take her at her word that if there's a medical emergency or your house is on fire, there will be a fire truck or an ambulance run to our community, because we are still a fire territory officially until July 1st of 2016. So, as I said, we're in the fact gathering mode still.
Have you thought about putting an action committee together with the public to have a look at various options?
Not yet, we have not. I mean, once, I think we get, once we get some of the facts in, I mean, there's tax questions that have not been answered yet, and where we're going to be, but at some point, we will have to make a decision as to what's gonna be in the best interest of all of our citizens.
One of the first things that we'd like to do is set a meeting up with Arcadia to see what their intentions are and what some of their findings are and options that they're looking into, and see if we can't do an interlocal or something, or join with them in some manner. So we haven't had the opportunity to sit down and have that meeting yet, but we're looking to do that as soon as possible.
One of their board members is out of town due to a death in the family, so that's what's kind of held us up at this point. But we are actively looking for a solution.
Does Arcadia have a new board starting this January?
do.
Who is on the Arcadia board now?
Mitch Russell,
Uh-huh.
Marie St. Louis, and Randy Hill. And their new clerk treasurer is Jennifer Pickett.
Okay.
So they had a complete, well.
She was
Maurice.
the clerk, I mean, she was the deputy clerk or
Yeah.
something?
Maurice was
And Maurice was on the council.
Yeah, he was on the council before, so.
So with this change, what is, the monies as far as their budget, will their budget change because they're not getting, influenced by Arcadia and Atlanta?
I can't honestly answer that at this point. I would think that it would somewhat,
How much of our
But I'm not
funds do
sure.
they acquire by doing the territory?
Pardon me?
How much of our funds did we donate to the territory with this?
But she
We
said,
really don't, I mean, we,
It's all on the tax base. I mean, that was all restructured when the fire territory was formed. And it's
That was to keep from doing a double tax apply, is that correct?
exactly, I believe, Jeff, is how that, I don't understand all that formula.
Got it either.
Specifically, but I do know when the territory was created, you know, the taxes were,
we lost money because we weren't getting that fire tax. And then that there was a new tax rate established for everybody in the territory, and that went directly to the territory.
And I've spent the last week on the phone and via email with the DLGF, which decides our budget, trying to get them to give us a rough estimate of how much money we'll have to spend, as well as Arcadia, because obviously that's one of the keys to us figuring out a solution, is how much money do we have.
Yeah, because there's a lot to, if we decide to reinstate the fire department here, there's a lot of things that have to happen. I mean, we gotta have training records that have to be generated, you're gonna have to have, you know, policies and procedures. I don't know, if, like the old policies and procedures, SOGs, SOPs that they had here, they're all gonna have to be relooked at, because if you're gonna start it back up, you've got NFPA changes and stuff that have transpired since that time. So we're kinda, not to reinvent the wheel, but we're gonna have to reinvent the wheel. In 4 months, it's not gonna be a lot of time to reinvent the wheel. I mean, trying to come up with a plan, I mean, that's, I mean, you guys don't have to get on it now. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
it's gonna be a real challenge.
Does Jackson Township, do they have an obligation to cover fire for us? Because the fact that
July.
Atlanta is within Jackson Township, we do pay the tax. We do pay a fire tax, correct, on our taxes?
I know they have and correct me, Aaron, if I'm wrong, a legal obligation
That's what I'm.
until July 1. After that, I can't answer. I don't know.
She
I'm not
made a
counsel
comment.
For that.
She did.
About, the budget was already set for 2015, so really, she said, and this is in the tape there somewhere, that really things should be the status quo until December 31st.
Yes, she did. In the meeting.
She said they'd come out.
Yeah.
Because we're 6 months behind,
Yeah.
something like that on pace,
Right.
so we're definitely good for July 1st, but
Right.
then she started
Right.
saying about December, I would
Yeah,
pick that up too.
because the budget was already set.
They
For
get
this year.
money in June and December.
Yeah.
And so the money that's gonna come in December has already been collected on the basis of the territory. Now, depending on what solution we go with, you could say you keep that and you keep covering us. Or you could say we want to own a share. And that would be on a rough calculation of the entire taxing district and what percentage of it is our Atlanta, basically. And so that's why I'm trying to get those numbers from DLGF so we know what do we have to work with. Because that's a big factor in what our options are.
I mean, we're really lucky because in this area we have a lot of talent that's up here. We have a lot of career guys here. I mean, we got 2 career guys here that do a lot of runs a year. I mean, we have more career guys here that can step in and help. You know, if they choose to put a committee together, look at what stuff we need to do
And that's one,
get that ball.
that's one of the things too, that it's kind of one of the options that I've personally been thinking about. And it's never been no discussion here with us yet. We haven't had any meetings, like I say, we're trying to see where Arcadia's at and what their plans are. But one of my thoughts is to try and get our department back and getting career firefighters that have the experience that would be interested in being on the volunteer fire department and getting ours opened back up. And that's one of the things I've got that I'm gonna throw out as a discussion when we do get to that point. But there's several different issues, you know, that we gotta look into before we make any decisions. And the main thing's the budget. You know, we gotta have the money to operate that fire station over there. Even if it is volunteer, we still got overhead and expenses and equipment and the trucks and, you know, things like that we gotta maintain. So it ain't as simple as just opening it up because we have a fire truck, you know, and we gotta have the experience.
There's a lot of stuff that, you know, a lot of your fire departments, your volunteer departments, you know, and I'll take it for instance, the guy from Jackson Township, you know, if he was a volunteer and got hurt on a fire, his insurance has to take care of him. You know, I mean, the town's insurance ain't gonna take care of him. It's gonna be his insurance to take care of
In
him.
the past, we had insurance on them,
Yes,
but
but
that's
that,
something, that's.
the liability
like
on that
reestablished.
is astronomical.
Right.
And, you know, and not, you gotta say, how much is it gonna cost to, you got 10 guys, and they're career guys, you know, and they go out here and they fight a fire, and they get hurt volunteering their time, and now they can't go do their permanent job. Well, they're SOL, you know, because they're not gonna get paid from their career job. Their insurance may not cover them because they're doing something that's putting their, you know, they're literally going out and putting their own life on the line for their insurance to cover them. So there's a lot of legalities there. A lot of guys that don't want to get involved with the volunteer department for that reason. And, you know, it's you know, it's liability, you know, I mean, you're raising a family and, you know, you got a young guy, that's fine, but, you know, you get a guy that's in his 50s and 60s, that's got 20, 25 years on another department, you know, he's seen it, he's done it, he's knowledge, but can he do the job like he could when he was 25 years old? And, you know, a lot of those guys will tell you, they can't do what they used to do when they were 25.
Yeah, and another thing is the state's revamping a lot of their, now we became a paper state. You have to have certifications for everything, firefighter 1, 2, that back in the day, we used to have a 24-hour, if you came on, we put you through a 24-hour class and you got familiar with stuff and we throw you on a truck. Well, they've now incorporated the 24-hour class that they used to have is now pushing more towards firefighter 1, 2, which is more, you know, a 6-week class on weekends that you have to go through step by step by step to be more certified. You know, so you gotta have proper instructors. And instructor 1, if you're an instructor 1, you can only teach up to a certain level. You gotta have an instructor 2, 3 that has to oversee the classes. I mean, there's a lot of, and it's not impossible. I mean, this can be done, but you're gonna have to really hit the ground running and have the people that can back that have the experience, you know, to train these guys to jump on a truck and know how to pump a fire effectively and not wind up burning up the pump. So,
you know, I think before we can even get that far discussing about personnel and volunteer firemen and full-time firemen and all that, we're at the position now, from my point of view, we can't do anything until we first know where we're at. How much money we got, what's our assets, you know, and we're still waiting on that. And then there's other options that we need to consider, hopefully. So I think it's gonna be down the road a little ways before we come up with any kind of solutions. But, you know, I appreciate everybody's input.
Well, I would,
Still
I mean,
a lot
it
of questions.
would, you know, make me happier to see Lane of Fire come back in, because that's where I got my start. You know, I was on here in Atlanta for 10 years before I beat career. But, you know, you gotta have the people that do it every day, they gotta wanna do it. You know, most of the guys that are career have part-time jobs and, you know, they got their families and, you know, I know guys that do it and they have their families, but, you know, they spend a lot of time in the firehouse. If it's not for a career, it's their volunteer, and, you know, family gets pushed to the back, and so you gotta be careful when you start trying to bring the fire department back. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see it come back, but you gotta have the people that's willing to put the time in to get it up and running, and to run it the right way, and make the right decisions for the right reasons.
and we're lucky here because we have people here that have kids that would, you know, I grew up on a fire truck. I mean, my dad was a fireman. You know, so we gotta start thinking, getting that family back there, so it becomes a family department again too. I mean, it can be done, we just gotta kinda know where we can and can't go.
Like I say, whatever we decide to do, it's my opinion that, you know, we're gonna do everything as best we can and be and get the most qualified personnel, whatever it is, you know, and, so, yeah, I think all those things would have to be, looked at and, but I'm just not ready to commit to a long discussion about this as yet until first, some things got to come in play for me. That's just how I feel about it. And I know everybody's interested and it affects everybody in this town, no doubt. You know, and everybody's wanting to know something and I understand that. But, I don't wanna get the cart before the horse, so, you know.
Now, in addition to the fire department, what is our ALS, Advanced Life Support Certification? How does that all play into this too? I mean, is that,
ALS is a medic.
Right.
They're allowed to push your drugs,
right,
start your IVs. So
right, but to getting the certification
that's
back for
about
here.
18 months for someone to go through, to get a certification for that.
Not for the individual, I meant for
Oh,
our,
you mean
for
for the
our
town?
company, yeah, for our,
We would have to contract
You
that.
have to contract
Okay.
that, yeah.
okay.
I mean, you could be $70,000, $80,000 to contract.
Now, who feasibly would we contract with?
Well, you got SEALs that takes
Okay.
care of Tipton, you've got, you could contract with Jackson Township.
I don't, well,
You could
personally,
You could
personally,
contract with Cicero, they have ALS.
okay,
I don't think they contracted with White River, right?
Yeah.
Already.
So if you were to put a, hypothetical, if you put the fire department back in service here,
Mhm.
and you did a contract with SEALs or Cicero,
okay,
you know, as long as you get a truck out the door to start initial care and so on, say if they're having a heart attack.
right,
Well, if you get qualified responders to sit there and start mitigating the patient and start, you know, taking care of the nitro and getting the
Right.
aspirin and start doing the first responder stuff that they do, you know, until you get one of those to come here, you know, I mean, you could do that.
so it looks like 6 miles, they're coming 6 miles
Right, but,
one way
you
or
know,
the other.
NFPA standards for time response is, of course, about 7 minutes from the time the call comes in through dispatch to the time you're on the scene. So if you get a call at 7 p.m., I mean, you can have a first responder there within minutes. I mean, he lives 3 blocks up the street, I live 3 blocks down the street, I mean, you have
You guys
people.
don't wanna do it because you don't wanna get you
I
don't wanna get
wouldn't
hurt on the
care.
job.
I wouldn't have any
You
problem
just
doing
said
it.
you were another one. I ain't depending on you, Alan. You know
Well, the liability for getting hurt on a medic run may be a little less than a fire run, so,
Yeah, but, I mean, you have plenty of options, I mean, you have EMS care all the way around.
right, well, I mean, you know, looking at, you know, how do we put our citizens in jeopardy if we ask them to come instead of Jackson further away?
As long as you got definitive care there, I mean, you're not really putting them in
Okay,
jeopardy.
all right. I'm just saying, if they look at it and say, well, why didn't you contract with these people that are 3 miles away instead of people that were 6 miles away?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
But I think that's where you have to juggle.
We have to have
You
all
have
the
to
facts.
juggle it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to put your, I know what's going on with Jackson Township Fire.
And whether we trust them or not, too.
Well, and, you know, you have to also look at it as, is it the fire department that's causing this, or is it the township trustee causing this?
That's true.
Because
That's true.
it could be, you
But
know,
how-
it could be a difference between the two. The fire department may not have a problem being up here,
Okay.
but it's the township trustees the ones paying the bills, and they're the ones, she's the one that's saying, well, we don't want, we're dropping out of this,
Right.
we're taking a hike and. you
How
know,
much control, how
You've
much,
said exactly what's taking place as far as I'm
Exactly what's
aware,
taking
and you
place.
know,
The
the
township
firefighters and everybody down there on the department has done an excellent job,
It's
and there's no
exactly right.
issues right there at all with them.
And they're not
And I
gonna
know,
back out on that.
I know they'll be here, if we need them, they'll be here. So, you know,
And the town-
and
the
I think that's
trustee
what
doesn't
you gotta
have-
look at you gotta look at the big picture,
and the
you know,
the trustee can't play into that? They can't,
Exactly.
by state statute, ALS have to run regardless of whether
Okay.
we got a contract with them or not, because they are an ALS provider,
All right.
state certified. So
There you go.
if we don't even have, White River's a good example. I'm sitting on the fire territory board, and White River was contracting with the Jackson Township. There was some issues there, and they became, you know, I mean, it was some personal issues, but White River pulled out as far as contract. Well, that we still respond out there, and we have to, because Cicero is contracting with them. They're the first call out of dispatch, and if they're not available, we're second on the call out. So and, you know, by state statute, they have to go, and they do go. What they do is they charge, instead of getting the contract price and the fee they were charging, now they charge the residents for the run, and they just increase that, so they don't get it from the township budget as far as a contract, they charge the individual.
The only thing the contract does for you is it doesn't charge the homeowner.
Yep.
The insurance company might get charged for a house fire. They run on a house fire, then technically the fire department can bill the insurance company for certain services.
They started to do that also, they wanted to put that fee on there for different type of equipment on scene.
Exactly, yeah, and, you know, there's a lot of departments that are doing that. They're tacking on, you know,
Fire truck or a pumper
Yeah.
truck, and they start adding
tank
to
or
it.
whatever, you know, additional equipment or being a certain amount of money charged for that
Yeah,
truck.
and, you know, we had that discussion down there, I disagree with that in a way, because people are already paying the taxes to that community as
Yeah.
far as the tax levy for fire protection, and then you're gonna turn around and sock it to the person that is the unlucky soul to have a fire or an issue come up like that, and then not only are they dealing with that and paying the taxes, they gotta pay additional fees, and, you know, that's what reason I feel that the fire territory tax levy is set, it's set high enough to operate that department as long as you don't go without,
Yeah.
you know, outside your means, and this department is doing that, just that, so, you know, tax to death, you know. It's one
A lot
of
of
the
big
things.
decisions that's gotta be made in the next few months, and, you know, and there's gonna be hard decisions to be made.
You're
You know,
exactly right.
There's no way around it.
But, you know, I just hope, you know, as a town council member up here and I represent the fire territory, and I'm on the fire territory board representing town of Atlanta. I just would like that all the residents, you know, attend these meetings, and we value your input, and, you know, we wanna know what the concerns are, we wanna know, you know, just like you guys are here, you know, you're explaining a lot of the stuff to us that we need to be aware of with, you know, if we go with the option of opening our fire station. You know, this is a lot of valuable information for us to have as we go into this and make our decisions, so, you know, I appreciate it, and, you know, like I
Yes.
say, I encourage people to attend not just this meeting, but the township meeting and in the fire territory meetings and stuff, that just, you know, is discussing these issues and what we're doing and where we're headed. You know, personally, I'm pro-fire territory, I never did wanna see it go, you know, all it took was one entity to pull out, and that's what happened, and now here we are back to square one. And I personally don't care what is said about any one of the three of us being able to operate on our own. It ain't gonna happen, because we couldn't do it before, and that was the whole purpose of going through everything that everybody, there was a lot of people behind this thing, and there was a lot of people upset about this getting started and established. It got put on, it got pushed through, we had the fire territory, people realized it was a good thing, and the people that were opposed to it in the beginning now are upset because it's going away. So, you know, I really hate to see this happening, and there ain't nothing we can do, our hands are tied because of that. You know, we gotta be contiguous entities, and that township tied us together, so we're done. And, you know, it's a sad thing, but, it is what it is, so we just gotta move forward and do the best we can. And like Aaron said, he's trying to get us a dollar amount from DLGF, so when this splits, we know what portion we're gonna receive, so that we know what we got to start even looking at operations of the fire department or contracting, and so it's, I wish we had more time to make that decision, but the state statute says, you know, they had between January and April to make the decision to pull out, and then they have till July 1st because of that tax draw they've gotten. So that's the reason for the July 1st deadline on it.
Once that's done, you're gonna have to have some sort of a checks and balances on auditing for equipment, what used to be ours, what is ours, still there, what's been.
There's a lot to go through to determine what's still in that budget and what, you know, like I say, it'll all have to be, I'm gonna say guess, you know, I don't know how, you know, I've never been involved with anything like this before, so I don't know how or when that'll all take place. I'm sure there's a lot of things that was purchased and different things with the fire territory money that they're dissolving that'll have to be audited and distributed or sold, and, you know, all the assets and everything's gonna have to be, and all the the debts have gotta be split too. So being that, we are part of the territory, any debts, we'll end up with a third of the debt. You know, that's right in the interlocal.